You are watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftatacademy.com. www.netsoftatacademy.com.
Hello everyone. Today in this episode we are diving into how users actually access AVD and how their profiles are managed behind the scenes. We'll also talk about client options, profile management with FSLogix, and the difference between personal and pool desktops. So let's get started. Well, users can connect to their virtual desktop or application through several clients, depending on their devices. Let's talk about AVD Web Client. Here, the access is given from any modern web browser without installation. This is great for quick access or when the devices are actually not compatible for the client software. For example, BlackBerry devices. I don't know why you will use it, but just in case. Or maybe your Tesla. Yeah, if your Tesla have a web browser on it and internet, well, you can access your desktop and start working on your tasks. All right, so the next one is desktop client software, or you can say AVD client agent. Well, this is a dedicated application for Windows and Mac devices that offers a richer experience and better performance because this application is tailor-made for this purpose. And the last one is your mobile client. Well, again, an application for iOS, an application for iOS devices actually is available, which let users connect on the go with a very touch-friendly interface. But remember, using a Windows desktop on a small screen mobile devices is possible, but I will not recommend it because, again, the real estate is very small. It's difficult to work on it, but it is possible. All right, now let's talk about a service called FSLogix, a very important service. Well, what is FSLogix? FSLogix is a profile management solution that stores user profile in a container. Now, why is this important? Because in virtual environment, profiles, user profiles, need to load quickly and be consistent no matter which session host the user connects to at any time. Now, FSLogix makes this logic possible by redirecting user profiles to a central storage location, thus improving login times by avoiding the traditional roaming profile issues. Now, this ensures a seamless user experience across all the sessions and devices. All right, now we know what FSLogix is. Well, FSLogix also needs the address of a storage location where it will save the containers containing all the user profiles. Now, where are these profiles containers stored though? There are multiple options. Some common options are, let's say, the Azure Files, which is actually a fully managed SMB file share service in Azure. It is quite simple and cost-effective method to create a file share. You will find Azure File inside Azure Storage account. So you need to create a storage account first. But now if you want a very high performance storage for, let's say, a very huge enterprise with heavier workload, in that case, you can use yet another service by Azure called NetApp Files. Well, again, this is just providing you a storage environment which is accessible over the network, but NetApp Files provide you high throughput. Now, what if you don't want to use cloud for storage? Well, I would recommend you should keep your storage and your session host as close as possible for better performance. But in this case, you can also store your containers in a NAS or SAN, which is in your on-premises area, or maybe in your office. It doesn't matter. In the end, there must be a network file share and FSLogix must have a line of sight to that file share. Once you do this, FSLogix will work. But remember, FSLogix also needs permissions, correct permission on that file share. You need to provide, let's say, full control so that FSLogix can create, delete, modify the data. Well, we know that AVD provide the provisioning of personal desktop as well as pooled desktops. Then how it fits in this situation? Let's talk about personal desktops. Well, personal desktops are mostly, I will say, almost every time, it is a persistent desktop, which means that each user gets their own dedicated virtual machine. Profiles and data will persist uniquely for that particular user. This is great for users who need customization or installed application on the desktop. Just like your own laptop is also persistent. It remembers the state, it remembers your data, it saves your files. On the other hand, when you're using pooled desktop, you should try to use pooled desktops as a non-persistent or stateless desktop environment. Here, the users, which are multiple users, share session host in a pool. The desktop resets every time for every session, whenever it shuts down and restarts. But FSLogix will ensure that the profile for that user who's connecting is preserved separately and loaded whenever that particular user logs in. Now, this option is more cost efficient for large groups with similar needs. Think about call centers, where everyone needs to use a particular set of applications, and they don't want to use a machine for anything else. In that case, multiple users can share a single machine. Now, with AVD, the organization can deliver two things. First, remote application programs. Second, a full desktop session experience. Let's talk about remote app programs. Here, you publish only a specific application instead of a full desktop, and the users run these applications seamlessly as if it is installed locally on the computer. When you talk about full desktop experience, here you provide your users with a complete virtual desktop environment. This flexibility allows you to tailor the experience based on business needs and the user role. If the user role is very critical and that user needs a full-fledged computer, AVD can still work in this situation. Or, on the other hand, if you have multiple users working in the same job category, let's say service desk or customer care, in that case, you can just provide them the applications they need without giving them full access to the desktop. Now, let me show you what it looks like when a user logs in via the web client and launches a remote application or a full desktop session. We'll watch how the profile gets loaded and how the session connects so smoothly in AVD via both a web client as well as the client software which you install on your computer. All right, now let's check how you can access the AVD environment from your employee's perspective. So I have my AVD portal here. Now this page will represent the administrator's portal site or dashboard. And then I have a sandbox environment here. It is just a virtual machine running Windows operating system. And imagine this belongs to your employee. It's your employee's laptop. So this side is your administrator backend, and this is your employee side. Now, if you go to AVD, click on host pool. Let's click on our personal host pool. As you can see, there is one machine which is healthy. You can connect to it. And same thing for pool host pool. Now, let's go to workspace. Before you host anything to your employee, you need to create a workspace and put your application group inside it. So let's click on create. select your correct subscription, then resource group, then give your workspace a simple name. So I will call it again demo workspace. Now, put the right location, that is kind of central. And no need to put a friendly name right now or a description, but you can. This is just a metadata for easy management in the future. Click application group. Now, it is asking you, do you want to register any application group with it? We'll say yes, of course. So let's add both. So the user I will assign will get both personal as well as pooled host pool. Just click advanced, no need to change anything, no need for tags at this point for this demo specifically. Now my workspace is ready and both application groups are registered. Perfect. The next thing you will do is you will assign the user. So let's go to application group. First click on personal host pool. And then you will see that there is one application in it, that is your session desktop, but there is no assignment. So click on manage if you want to add a user here, or you can go to manage and then click on assignment. Click on add and add a user. I will add myself because I'm using my account for testing purpose as well. So I added myself. Perfect. Now let's go back and add it to pooled host pool as well. Gonna add myself, select, and that's it. But if you have a lot of users, make sure that you create groups for them. Always form a habit to create proper groups for easy management. Perfect, so they're assigned. Now, how will they see the assignments? How will the user see their environment and use it? Well, let's go back to our employee side. Now there are two methods. Either they can go for a client they can install on their computer, or they can also join through the web browser. So I will show you both. So here I open web browser. I'll do it incognito. Okay. And just put the correct URL. Now, if you don't know the URL, you can always search. So you will just search for AVD web client URL. And AVD web client, okay. This is the new URL. And you can also get it from Microsoft official page. Here, if you go to the Learn page, so if you go down, these are your URLs for Windows, MSI means that application, Mac, iPad, and all the platforms are there. Now this is web browser. For web browser, you will use this one. This is the latest one. So just paste it here. All right. So you are now connecting to AVD environment. You have to log in with your credentials. All right. As you can see, I can see two computers. Now one will be personal and one will be pooled, but both names are same. No worries, you can always change the name of your applications. So let's go to application group. For the personal host pool, I will go to the application, click on it, and change the name to personal VM. Save it. And I will do the same thing for other VM as well, that is pool VM. Save it. Now you will not see the change immediately. You may have to refresh your page. And here you go, personal VM, pool VM. Now we need to connect with it. Now, if your machine, not these two machines, your actual client's computer is also Entra ID joined, then you can just double click on it and use it. But if this machine, the client's personal laptop or personal machine, is not a part of the Entra ID infrastructure, then there is one more setting the administrator have to do. So the administrator will go to host pool, click on the host pool, and then go to settings and click on RDP properties, and then click on advanced. Here at the end of the script, we'll enter target ISAAD joined I equal 1. So you need to enter this and save it. And same thing will be done for pooled host pool as well. Now you don't need to do this if the client's personal computer is joined to Entra ID or registered to Entra ID. Perfect. So let's go back. And this is first way. The second method is the client software. So I will install the AVD client. So I'll search for it, AVD client download, go to the official website, use remote desktop client, yes. Scroll down. For Windows, download the correct one. So I'm using i7 as my processor, so I will use Windows 64-bit. If you're using Snapdragon or ARM architecture processor, then you will use this download. I'll go ahead and download this. Then I will install it. I will keep it in one side. This is the first way. And then I will install the client as well. All right, so when you will open that client, it will look like this. And over here, you again have to click on subscribe with URL, and you have to put the URL here. You cannot put the web URL. You have to put the client one. So you will go to AVD client URL. Same website. Then scroll down. Oh, not this one. Scroll down and click on, let's say, Windows MSI, and this will be the URL. And paste it here. Click Next, and now you have to log in with your credentials again. Okay. And here you go. You can see your environment and your workspace. Now, if you want to connect, you just double click on the machine you want to connect to, put your password, okay, I just changed the RDP settings. I may have to wait for a while. Let me just pause the video for 10 minutes and then try to reconnect. But before that, let's try on the client side as well, with the pooled one. Yeah, over here, it got configured. So I'll put the password again. Let's try to connect. Oh, yes, I think I know what I missed. You also have to give permission to these users on the machine. The user have permission on using the AVD environment, but what about the machine? So that is again an easy step. You will use your RBAC. So you will go to your machine. Let's say I want to go to personal machine or pooled machine and then give permission. But let's say there are multiple computers and a lot of users. You can also give permission at your resource group level. Remember, permission inherits. So I'll go to demo, then go to RBAC, IAM, then click on add role assignment. All right, the permission I'm looking for is very simple. Desktop virtualization user. Don't make them contributor. Just user is enough, which allow user to use the application in an application group. So once your user are in desktop virtualization user, then you will go to virtual machine user login, which will allow them to log into the machine. So desktop virtualization user and virtual machine user login. They should have these two permissions. So I'll select the member. Next, review and assign. Done. So I just finished the assignment. Let's go and retry. Here you go. Now you have access. So the user is logged in via client right now. So let me just make it small. OK, so this is via client. Now let's try the web browser as well. Let's try to connect again. So this is pooled VM. This one is still taking time. Let me refresh to get the new policies kick in. OK, one more thing. For personal VM, we selected direct connection. So there's a lot of troubleshooting going on. So let's go to host pool and I'll show you what we missed again. For personal host pool, if you go to your session host, here, you forgot to assign the user to this machine as well, because this host pool is using personal host pool configuration, plus the assignment type is direct, not automatic. So I just click here and select this user, assign. Done. Now let's connect. Yeah, so there are a lot of small configuration you have to do, but only once. Once you finish all the configuration properly, then your environment just runs very smoothly. Submit. And here we go. We have the connection to both our computers. So while this is logging in, I will show you the last thing as well. So this is your client and this is your web browser. There's one more application which is, again, providing a unified experience from Microsoft. So if you go to Store and search for the application called just Windows, you will find this new application that is called Windows App. You install it. So you open it now. And it's basically a client, but in a new form factor. So over here, let me minimize all this. We don't need it, so let me minimize it. And let's only focus on Windows application. So you sign in with the same credential you have.
That's it. Now I don't need the tour. And here is your workspace and both of your machine. It's the same logic, but it looks much better. It's a new environment. So if you want to connect, you just click on connect. It will initiate the connection with your AVD and then your machine. And here you go. You have connection. Let's go back to our admin portal. Now, if you go back to your host pool and click on it, here you can see one active session, and you will see their username. From this point onwards, you can send this user any message you want, let's say demo, test. Let's send it. And here is your message, test. I can also sign out this user, and this user will be signed out automatically, as you can see. Signed out. So administrators still have the control over the environment, and this is why AVD provide so much control and security over your corporate environment. You can also go to pool, host pool, and similarly, I will just select this user and sign out. And here you go. It's that quick. All right, so these are the ways with which your users, your employees can connect with your AVD environment. Now let's say you also want to push an application. Well, you can. So let's go for the pooled host pool, because you can only push application individually on the multi-session environment. So first you need to remove the access of the user on this pooled host pool application group. So let me remove that. So I'm not going to provide this user the full-fledged desktop. I'm going to remove it. Done. Now let's create one more application group for applications itself. Let me check if it is gone or not. Yeah, assignments are gone. So let's create one more application group. I will select my subscription, select my resource group, and the host pool will be pooled one, and remote apps. I will name it demo apps. This is where you can add application, whether you want to add the application from start menu or file path, or you want to do MSIX app attach. It's your option. Let's do a simple one, that is start menu application. And I will select, let's select Notepad. It's a small little application. Click next, next, and add. Similarly, you can keep on adding more application if you want. Let's add remote desktop connection. Why not? Let's add this as well. Now the assignment. Let's assign this application group to the user, to the test user. Done. Select. Now let's put this application group inside our workspace. So we don't have a specific workspace for pooled one, because that workspace also have the personal one. So I will just say no, we can do it later. All right, so I created the application, I put two applications inside it, and I also finished the assignment. Let's wait for deployment to finish. All right, so let's go back to AVD, go to workspace, and let's see if we can add it into same workspace or not. So if you click on workspace, click on manage, application group, add. Yes, demo apps. Select. And it's done. Now if you go back You will not see it immediately. You may have to refresh this page. So where is my account? Yes. Either you can sign out and sign in or just refresh. Let's refresh this instance. And here you can see no applications are visible, just a personal VM at this point. And let's go and check our sandbox environment. Refresh. And over here, you refresh from this side. And here you go, Notepad and your remote desktop is visible here. Over here as well. So what about this new Windows environment? Well, if you click on All, you still don't see it here because your applications are now in the App section. It's just about the layout. Some people prefer this, where everything is visible right away, but the new layout is much more cleaner. Application goes to Application, and all your devices goes to Device tab. Even not just AVD devices. If you have your RDP devices, they will also end up here. So if you click on Apps and you want to, let's say, open the application, and then it will initiate the connection and your application will open. Remember, you will not get access to the full-fledged desktop now, just the application instance running on it. Here we go. Now you can use it, you can save your data, and then you can just close it. So this is how you access your environment in multiple or from multiple clients.
All right, so that wraps up user access and profile management in AVD. Next, we will look at securing your AVD environment and some best practices for protecting user sessions. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe for more Azure Virtual Desktop tutorials. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.
Thank you for watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftatacademy.com. www.netsoftatacademy.com.